Hello and welcome to Index South Asia's Interactive Business Forum. Today we have with us Renzo Bazzarini, who is the key account manager at Keema, Hong Kong. He will give us insights on compliance and supply chain solutions for the textiles and apparel industry. Renzo has been working in China for the past 4 years, and as key account manager, he assists European brands and retailers to create new global quality control and CSR strategies, helping to implement and control them in the most efficient and cost effective way possible with the help of Keema resources and technology. Without further ado, I hand it over to him to take it forward. Over to you, Renzo.
Thank you very much, Mitra. And first of all, a great honor for me being here today, representing Keema and Keema One for the Intex South Asia. So thank you for the introduction, introducing myself. So today I will be focusing mainly on how data-driven quality in the supply chain can improve your bottom line as a brand, as a retailer, or as a supplier. So first of all, who is Keema? So Keema, we are a third-party global QC provider. So we offer inspection, audits, testing, and certifications globally. So we cover 85 countries with our services. So within our group, we are over 4,000 employees, 40 offices, including 14 testing labs. During the years, we accumulated over 15,000 clients from all kinds of industries and sectors. So it will be food and also non-food. And within the non-food, a big chunk is from the textile apparel industry. What is a game changer or very unique to Keema is that we have been a digital native, as we say. So since day one, we've been existing. We offer an online platform for our clients to use our services so they can book online inspection audits, access reports, and KPIs in real time. So KPIs, who's my best supplier, worst supplier, which defects happen the most, or which tests on certain garments happen the most. So in a few clicks, you have access to your whole supply chain KPIs, and then deep dive on matters or certain critical defects which might happen, so you can be a bit more active. So it's really about being data driven. On top of this, as we manage ourselves a global QC team of over 2,500 inspectors and auditors, we can also experiment on our inspectors, meaning that our QC people on site, they use an inspector app to fill in all this data. So they fill in all the data, PDF or report is created, and then finally KPIs are shown in our client's dashboard. So now we decided to open up this tool, which is called Keema One. So anyone with their own QC teams or factories doing self-inspection can use the Keema One software to collect data and also to be more standardized in your whole process. Additionally, we also have e-learning courses. So of course, training is crucial to train our people on the ground, but we can also train suppliers. We can also train anyone within quality teams of brands and retailers. So these courses created in-house can also be shared across the whole supply chain of our clients. Today, I will focus a bit more on the state of global supply chain visibility and collaboration, which is a very hot topic, especially due to the COVID and all disruptive things happening around us in the past year. So I will discuss this deeper. So disruptive events such as consumer demands. So consumer demands, for example, they want to know where is my product manufactured and in which circumstances. So they have stricter environmental requirements, anti-pollution measures. So you can also use this for branding. So it's very important to be very transparent on these things. Of course, no surprise, COVID-19 pandemic, very disruptive. So 90% of sourcing managers and directors expect that the COVID-19 effect will be a long-term effect. And it's even bigger effect than the US-China trade war, for example. So it's really a catalyst for pre-existing trends. There is also data security issues, for example. So cyber attacks, data breaches, where the costs of disruption of supply chain should have achieved even 27%, which is quite a big surprising amount. Besides this, there is also a lot of rising costs. So for example, in China, between 2011 to 2017, the wages increased 64%. And year after year, the minimum wage also increases. So it makes it very challenging for some apparel and brands manufacturers to stay in China. Thus, they have to move to other locations, so moving sourcing areas, which also brings his own challenges. So lack of visibility. If you move to a new market, you don't have your own teams there, for example. So having visibility there is crucial. Then, of course, also climate change or weather events or natural disasters. So out of survey, it seems that the top 5 causes of supply chain disruption, it also includes weather events, which is actually ranked higher than political changes. For examples, we had wildfires in California, Australia, which affect, of course, agriculture, and specifically also for the industry of textiles, the wool and the cotton production, meaning that there's a shortage of raw materials, also increasing the prices. Finally, there is also fast fashion trends. So the fast fashion trends and the turnaround times are getting smaller and smaller, which increase, of course, the risk of major defects and also product recalls, for example. So this might affect the consumer loyalty. So it's very important to also keep an eye on this. And all these things make it very difficult for managing your supply chain as a brand or as a retailer within the apparel sector, but also in general of the whole industry. So it's crucial here to have a tool that enables you to have full visibility to ensure delivery on time, but also that the quality of the products is of high standards. So to not affect any damage of your brand image, for example. So, for example, so when you digitize your supply chain with tools such as Keema One, you can start really from the initial stage of your supply chain, meaning that the raw material stage. You can do there, combine an audit as well, for example, to do inspection on site by your factory or by a third party. Then on top of this, you can also do an audit, for example. So to an audit to ensure you don't violate international environmental standards, but also if there is no forced labor or human rights violations. So very important to start at the early stage of your supply chain. You can also do manufacturing audits to ensure the capability is reached and the capacity is there for your orders. Then also production monitoring. Production monitoring really from the whole cycle of your production to follow the whole cycle and to ensure the quality is met and have a full overview of the production. Finally, there's also, for example, in your retail stores, a point of sale inspection. So to ensure that the products that will be on the shelves arrive correctly, are not mistreated and are positioned correctly. So it's really about gathering data at every stage and turning it into information, allows you to anticipate any potential problems. So really being more proactive instead of reactive, and to also make timely decisions. So in a nutshell, and most importantly, this will save money, of course, for your business, which is crucial when inflation is on the rise, for example. And now today I will share with you a success story from one of our clients, which is called Ariat. Ariat is an American footwear, apparel, and accessories brand for equestrian sports, work industries, and also outdoor activities. So based in US, California. You can find their products in over 6,000 stores. So Ariat was struggling with 3 major things, so 3 main challenges they had. So lack of visibility, so mainly because of COVID-19 and all the changes it made within their supply chain. But also they need unified quality standards, meaning that they had using Excel, Word files, or they really had scattered data all across their supply chain, and everything had to be consolidated in one single place and be standardized. So this was a major issue they faced as well. But then the final issue which they also faced was to work on the alignment of the factory's procedures and quality processes. So not only having third parties doing 100% of the inspection, but also shifting this responsibility to suppliers. So taking responsibility and ownership. So how did Keema One help Ariat to overcome those 3 challenges? So to have a lack of visibility. So that's the online platform to show you exactly or map your whole supply chain, but then also have access to data. Who's my best supplier, worst supplier, which defect happened the most, to which specific product. So you can really be more proactive instead of reactive. And then also scattered quality standards. So that's where we create workflows. So a workflow is everything which happens before, during, and after an inspection. So really to standardize this whole process and to also standardize checklists. So checklists, what needs to be checked on the product specifically. So for footwear, for t-shirts, for pants, all standardized checklists based on product level. Finally, also factory empowerment. So the factory could do self-inspections instead of having third party always doing inspections. So they can be assigned inspections to do themselves, but that keeps control, of course. So they keep control of the workflow and the checklist used. And then finally, also having access to all these data collected on site by the factories themselves. Ariat can have this visibility into their dashboard. So all in all, it's about reducing third-party quality control and decrease the overall QC costs. So in times of cost saving, this is definitely something that is welcome, I believe. Finally, as well, furthermore, empowering suppliers with self-inspections where appropriate, of course. So there is also risk radar included into Keema 1. So high risk orders, for example, of course, still third-party needs to inspect this, but for low risk orders, they can be inspected by the factory themselves. So this can lower, of course, the cost on the long term. So then we will also go into details about reviews. So as our good friend Warren Buffett said, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. So if you think about this, of course, you'll think differently. So reviews, according to Qualtrics survey, 93%, yes, 93% of customers read online reviews before buying a product. So it means almost all consumers online read product review. And if the scoring out of 5 reaches 3.3, this is the minimum star rating of a business consumers or consumers would engage to work with a certain brand or retailer. So at least 3.3 is needed. And only 13% of consumers will consider using a business that has a star rating of only 1 or 2. So it's very minor. And if any bad review is viewed by consumers or almost consumers, 94% has changed their mind due to a bad review. So it's certainly something to keep in mind as a brand and to have a good image and to ensure the quality of your products is well known. So maybe you might be the cheapest on the market, but of course, a certain quality standard is needed. So better to compete on quality rather than on price. And then also ethical standards. So according to our survey, 60% of customers were reporting making more environmental friendly, sustainable, or ethical purchases since the start of the pandemic. So it's really being more considered by consumers before making a final purchasing decision. Now, finally, I will, in a nutshell, summarize how Keema 1 can help. So it's one platform where you can onboard your whole supply chain. Will it be your own inspectors? Will it be the factories themselves to do self-inspection? Will it be any other third party? So if you work with multiple third parties, all of them can be onboarded. But also your stores, retailers can also be onboarded onto the single platform. You can also standardize the whole process. So as mentioned before, we have workflows, so how to perform an inspection. You can standardize this whole process. You can make it as complex or as simple as you would like to. Also standardizing checklists. Then finally, also there is an intuitive mobile app for inspectors, so they can use it on their smartphone within the factory, works online, offline, and very easy to use. So in several clicks, they can drag and drop pictures, identify defects, pre-filled comments are made, so to save really time and to really focus on the quality control and to improve the efficiency. So out of our own survey within Keema, the Keema 1 app would reduce or make the inspection more efficient by 20 to 30%, which is really a significant number. Finally, also, and most importantly for quality managers, is to have actionable insights. So on the online KPI dashboard, you have a full supply chain mapping. And but then, of course, all KPIs, so all points which are shown within the checklist, so all the checkpoints, but also all the defects are shown within the dashboard to understand within my supply chain which issue do I face the most and which supplier is most responsible for this or related to which particular product. You can map your entire supply chain. So especially right now, for example, in Germany, there's a new supply chain act upcoming. So you need to know who is my tier 1 supplier, then sometimes even tier 2. So you can map your full supply chain and know exactly where do I source from and my tier 1 supplier, where is he sourcing from. So it's really a crucial tool and very nice to have. Finally, there is also a risk radar. So a risk radar flags risky orders. So based on the risk level, you can assign a third party to the inspection, for example, if it's high risk. If it's low risk, the factory can do self-inspection. So this risk radar considers product level and then factory level. So, and within those levels, there is several parameters. For example, the factory level includes if it's a new supplier, it's a new country, maybe the risk country in general. Myanmar right now, it's quite a difficult time there. So this also will include in the risk radar. So now going to the Q&A. Before I jump into the Q&A, I will play a quick video about our Keema One tool, sharing right now. So here we go, a quick video about our Keema One solution. It seems small issue for playing. I will reload. Please allow me. Small issue. I will replay it once more. There it goes. Seems the issue is not the video is not cooperating. Then we can jump right away back to the Q&A session. So I will hand over back to Mitra. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Renzo. Thank you so much to give us an insight as to what Keema One can give manufacturers today, because as we know, down the road, compliances are increasing day by day, and people really want to know where where their products are coming from, as well as the quality. So while you were making a presentation, we have some questions from interested viewers. The first question is, what metrics can your platform track to mitigate the risk of poor quality?
Okay, so good question. Thank you, first of all, for the question. So the metrics, so there are multiple metrics, but it's based on failure rate, so how pass or failure rate of reports, but also on specific tests performed on site. So for example, seam strength, you can also track this. And then also the defect rate, which defect happens the most. For example, untrimmed thread ends, of course, no surprise, is the most common defect within the industry. So you can track all of these different metrics, but then also integrity risk on inspectors themselves. So if you have one inspector, let's say I have 5 inspectors within my team, I can benchmark all of them against another. Maybe one inspector is too strict, so he always fails when he goes to this factory, or if he goes to another factory, he never fails. So this might show, okay, he never fails, something is wrong, something is fishy, maybe. So he might get a bribe, for example, there. So this is something of the tools we also have within Keema. And then also the risk scoring. So risky orders are also flagged, but then also risky factories in general. So it will be on product level, it will be on factory level, it will be on inspector level, for example. So it's really very comprehensive dashboard we have there.
That is really required, because especially in South Asia, there are so many different parameters and levels of quality, as well as, like you mentioned, for inspections and defect rates. It's a pretty good program to have in terms of depth. And well, the next question is also related in the sense, how do you make sure that the data collected by the suppliers is accurate?
So it's about standardizing the whole process. So standardizing starts with the workflow. so what to perform on site. So it can really be, okay, I arrive in the factory, I need to sign code of conduct. Then I need to go to the warehouse. Then I need to pick the boxes. Then I need to do this test. Then I need to do that check, for example. So it's really the whole workflow to be customized based on inspection type, if it's a final inspection or an inline or pre-production, for example. And also the checklist. So the checklist answers, for example, it's also, you can select if it can comment anything else, the inspector, or just, for example, yes or no, or it needs to answer with a number. So this will allow to only have standardized answers. That's one thing. Secondly, it's also about learning videos. So e-learning. So as mentioned before, we have the Keema Academy, which is built in-house, which we share with our own inspectors and auditors on site. They're also included within the Keema One feature. And those learning videos can show how to perform measurements, for example, or how to use certain measurement tools in general. So it's really e-learning built within the app right away at the fingertips of our inspectors. And then finally, also the inspector app. So within the inspector app, you can add the signature, acknowledge any documents. If any picture is blurred, will also be detected. The system will say, look, this is a blurred picture. Are you sure you want to upload it? Yes or no? So it also creates an alert. So to ensure the report will only show high quality pictures.
Wow. So I guess we have one more question from someone who just looked at the number of data points that you connect. So the question is, how long does it take you to start actually using Keema One?
Okay. So we have a big team behind the Keema One solution. So usually it takes, including training and data import, because we know our clients might have data from previous years, or they have their own checklists. It includes 4 weeks on average. And we can also do data integration, meaning that we can connect to any PLM or ERP system via an API to have automated exchange of data. So usually this cycle takes within 4 weeks. And we also have our customer success team. Their background is also QC experience. So you're not talking to an IT guy, please do this and this. No, they understand what your checklist means, or all the process to be implemented. So it's really people from the QC background to help to assist our clients.
Wow. So what you just said is that in just 4 weeks, a company, by implementing Keema One, can totally turn around their quality control as well as their processes for that. Wow, that's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. If you really want to take your company into the next level of quality control, Keema are the people to go to. We're out of time for the current Q&A session, but you can always directly connect with Renzo or Keema's Asian offices. Renzo, thank you so much for taking time out to present at Index South Asia Interactive Business Forum. And I'd also like to thank everyone for attending this investment seminar. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Renzo. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.